Stick with me. We are diving into a wild payback story. 2 years after leaving, her best friend asked, "Jason, are you still obsessed with Evelyn?" I just smiled, shook my head, and casually flashed the sparkling diamond ring on my finger. Then I showed my phone screen a sweet family photo and proudly announced I was happily married with kids. Her friends let out heavy sighs. Even her supposedly unforgettable first love practically begged me for another chance. Because after I vanished, that ice-cold woman went absolutely wild, completely losing her mind and throwing away her dignity. From kindergarten onward, Evelyn and I never went more than 3 days without seeing each other. If I vanished for just an hour, she would completely panic. But the moment Trent showed up, she actively dodged me for 3 entire months, blocking every single way I had to contact her. We finally met 3 months later, right after my horrible car crash. I deliberately played totally clueless just to mess with her head. "Excuse me, who are you?" Pure smugness flashed right across her new boyfriend's eyes. He wrapped his arms around Evelyn and smirked. "We are just good Samaritans passing by to help you out, buddy." Evelyn stood right next to him in a highly protective stance, guarding him from me like a threat. She stayed completely silent, totally co-signing his absolute nonsense. "Watch closely here. If my disappointment was real, you and I would think they were the most passionately in love couple on earth." I casually pulled the intravenous needle out of my hand and made a call. "Mr. Taylor, I made my final decision. I am moving to Europe to build my career." Mr. Taylor chuckled joyfully on the line. "You should have come ages ago. With your talent, if you arrived just a bit sooner, you would already be an internationally famous photographer." I laughed politely. "Thank you for the massive compliment, Mr. Taylor." Early the next morning, I arrived at the publisher. The boss was visibly completely shocked when he finally received my resignation letter. "Is this about the salary?" I smiled, shaking my head. "Thanks, boss, but no, not about the money." "Then why I just have different plans for my life now?" The boss instantly thought he figured it out. He smiled knowingly. "Ah, getting ready to marry Evelyn and become the ultimate house husband, right? Well, that is great. For years, that girl picked you up from work every single day, rain or shine. She really keeps you in her heart. Marrying her is wonderful. I will not stand in your way." Hearing the first half, I almost explained that Evelyn was indeed getting married, but I was not the groom. But after he finished, I completely lost the desire to clarify. "You and I both know this love triangle between me, Evelyn, and Trent is way too messy to explain quickly. Right now, I just wanted to speed run the handover process and escape this city of heartbreak in half a month." "Oh, by the way, Jason," the boss added, "when is the big day? You absolutely have to send an invite. I am definitely coming to toast you two." I forced an awkward smile. Right at that moment, Jimmy from the front desk burst into the office, popping his head in with entirely too much energy. "Jason, bro, your girlfriend is here to pick you up again. There is a massive surprise waiting for you today." I walked outside the gates and immediately spotted Evelyn leaning against her black Cullinan, looking down as if lost in thought. I stepped closer to see what this huge surprise was. The black car was absolutely stuffed with bright red roses. Besides the driver's seat, the back seats and trunk were overflowing with them. Behind me, I could hear my work buddies, the guys I usually joked with, hiding behind the company sign, blatantly spying on us. They nudged each other, giggling like absolute kids. "Oh wow, Evelyn is here to pick up her man." Sometimes she used to bring me little things I liked. Small cakes, bubble tea, or an assortment of my favorite snacks. My coworkers had seen it plenty of times, but they still teased me about it every single time. "Whenever your girl shows up, the whole office gets fed. We are all riding Jason's coattails." In the past, I just silently accepted the title. I would laugh off their teasing and share whatever Evelyn brought me with everyone. Right now, the boys were probably waiting for the drama to unfold so they could share those roses. I simply called out her name, Evelyn. Evelyn looked up, but her expression was less than stellar. Her attitude remained ice cold. "From now on, never call me by my first name. Call me sister." I froze for a second, then slowly nodded. "Understood, sister. I was a bit harsh last night." "Do not take it to heart," she said, "but you are no child. Pushing someone down the stairs is doing something incredibly dangerous. Never do it again. Trust me, you and I would both laugh in pure, absolute disbelief at that audacity." "So you came here today just to interrogate me?" Evelyn's face darkened entirely. "Even now, you still do not realize what you did wrong. All right, stick with me here. I told Evelyn after 20 years together I would never be foolish enough to hurt that guy inside our own home." I shouted in pure anger, but immediately regretted snapping. After all, I was leaving very soon. Arguing was totally pointless now. Just leave and stop bothering my peace at work. Back at the office entrance, my joking coworkers instantly noticed my extremely dark and heavy mood. They looked seriously worried. Bro, did you guys argue? Do not be mad. She brought an entire truck full of roses just to apologize. Give her another chance, man. You really do not realize how incredibly lucky you are. An amazing girlfriend like that is incredibly rare. Unbothered. I just sighed quietly and told them to stop crowding around me. Get back to work. Since my photography skills were elite, I held some major respect at this magazine. The junior staff always followed my lead, quietly backing off to their desks. Jimmy, my closest buddy there, sneakily pulled me into a corner to chat. Jason, can I please have just one rose? I saw her completely fill up your car, vase included. My head is pounding. I will buy you something else later, I muttered softly. Sitting at my desk, I felt absolutely exhausted and totally restless. While I was mindlessly editing some old photos, my phone suddenly buzzed. Which of these spicy outfits do you prefer? Trent had messaged me photos. They were supposed to be sleepwear, but honestly, they looked exactly like extremely revealing lingerie. Those pictures showed way too much skin. Then almost instantly, the crazy message was unsent. Then Trent typed, "Oops, my bad." Sent that to the wrong person. I just shut my phone off and tossed it away. You and I both know the truth. This toxic guy did not send those pictures by accident at all. He totally wanted to rub it in my face. I completely ignored my phone until my work shift was finally over. 0 missed calls, 0 messages, absolutely nothing. Before, if Evelyn could not reach me for 30 minutes, she would absolutely spam my phone or just storm straight into my office. But right now, everything was completely different. Suddenly, a notification popped up on my social feed. I clicked it and immediately saw that familiar black car absolutely overflowing with those bright red roses. Trent was holding a huge bouquet, smiling brightly like he had just won the ultimate jackpot. His caption said, "Thank you, babe, this is the best birthday gift ever." Oh, so today was his birthday. Those flowers in the car were entirely meant for Trent. After my shift, I absolutely dreaded returning to that house. But Evelyn's dad, Mr. Vance, suddenly called me sounding pretty concerned. "Jason, why are you working so late recently? Traveling all alone at night is not very safe. I will tell Evelyn to pick you up." I declined, saying I did not want her car. The passenger seat and those roses do not belong to me. "It is totally fine, Mr. Vance, I will just catch a taxi." After riding back home, I walked inside to find both Evelyn and Trent waiting. Trent was dragging this massive suitcase straight out of my own bedroom. "Oh, Jason, you returned," he said happily. My anger instantly hit the boiling point. "Who gave you permission to enter my room?" Evelyn instantly slammed her cup onto the table. "I did. Is there a problem with that?" "No, I never agreed to this. Who does he think he is touching my personal things? Jason, this is the Vance family house," Evelyn snapped back coldly. "He is my fiancé, now he can enter whatever room he wants. Can you believe this? Hearing that betrayal hit me like a freezing bucket of ice water." Trent then gently scolded Evelyn, acting like a complete angel. "How could you talk to Jason so harshly? That will hurt his feelings." Then he gave me those big, innocent eyes. "Jason, the maid mentioned Evelyn still had clothes left inside your personal bedroom. Since you need plenty of room and she took up half your closet, I honestly thought you did not have enough space. So I politely took the initiative, packing her outfits up to move them right into our bedroom. Evelyn used to be so insanely attached to me. Growing up, she literally scared off any romantic competition trying to send love letters. She had boldly moved all her clothes into my room with a sweet excuse. She wanted me to pick her daily work outfits every single morning. I knew her entire wardrobe better than she did. I memorized every specific drawer. Completely ignoring his face, I sprinted upstairs straight into my private room. It looked like an absolute tornado hit. I seriously thought I was robbed. My clothes and shoes were tossed randomly across the floor in total chaos. Furious, I pointed at the mess and loudly interrogated Trent. "Is this how you move clothes around?" Trent instantly teared up completely, turning on the fake waterworks. "I'm so sorry, Jason. I just was not being careful. Not careful. You literally turned my entire room into a massive disaster. Your clumsiness is insane." Evelyn frowned and scolded me. "So what do we think? Trust me, major payback is coming. Stick with me here. I did absolutely nothing, yet it is somehow my fault. Trent is your future brother-in-law. You really need to respect him. Evelyn, do you want to come right up here and see this mess for yourself?" Evelyn slowly walked upstairs. Seeing the total disaster in my bedroom, a very quick look of shock crossed her face, but only for a single second. The very next moment, she gave Trent an incredibly annoying and sweet smile. "From now on, let us just have the maids clean our room," she smiled. "But I refuse to let anyone touch my clothes, especially my sleepwear," Trent said. He emphasized sleepwear while a shy blush painted his cheeks. Evelyn nodded helplessly. "All right, fine. I will clean it from now on. Just sit down and rest." Trent playfully stuck his tongue out. "Evelyn, am I too clumsy? No, it is totally fine. You have me here. Being a little clumsy is perfectly okay." I squeezed my eyes shut. I had never hated a handover process more in my whole life. If not for that rule, I would have flown overseas already, totally avoiding this nauseating and super chaotic display. "Jason," she said coldly, "calculate the exact cost of your damaged items. Give me a total number and I will simply pay you." I laughed out of pure anger. Wow, Evelyn really knew how to throw money at people now, throwing it right at me. Trent actually had the nerve to brush his arm against mine, whispering softly, "Jason, you should ask for a lot. With me here, no matter how much you demand, she will have to pay you." Evelyn glared right at him. "Are you taking an outsider side now, trying to let an outsider empty your wife's wallet?" Trent simply pouted at her. "He is my little brother-in-law now, like a younger brother. Of course I have to protect Jason," I sneered. An outsider, that is right. They were the intimate couple now. I, the adopted son of this family, was truly just an outsider. My phone suddenly rang. It was Mr. Taylor. I quickly adjusted my mood and answered. "Jason," he said, "I remember you shot a beautiful series of bird photos a while back. They were beautiful. An editor from a magazine over here wants a look. Could you send the original film?" "Yes, Mr. Taylor. Please wait just a moment. I will go back to my room." I preferred using film cameras. All my old rolls of film were locked inside a small drawer. "Now watch this closely." I grabbed my key only to discover the entire cabinet was soaking wet. "Ah, Jason, I am incredibly sorry." Trent gasped loudly. "I accidentally spilled coffee earlier. I was worried it would stain your cabinet, so I wiped the whole thing down with water." A freezing chill ran down my spine. I did not even bother wasting another word on Trent anymore. I quickly unlocked the drawer. The moment I pulled it open, my heart, which had been hanging by a thread, completely broke in two. Row after row of film rolls were completely submerged in water. Some had unraveled, some had totally discolored, and many were tangled into a soggy mess. Even the water inside had turned a murky brown. This was basically all my photography work from the last 3 years. The entire bottom of the cabinet was ruined. I trembled with pure rage, totally unable to form a single word. I did not even notice Evelyn walking in. Seeing the absolute disaster in the drawer, she said nonchalantly, "Just calculate how much these film rolls cost. Add it up and Trent and I will compensate you." I finally snapped. "You feel that anger too, right? Can you even afford to pay me back? Do you have any idea what these films mean?" Evelyn frowned. "The film is already completely ruined. Throwing a massive tantrum will not change anything. Trent was just trying to be nice and help you pack your clothes. Spilling the coffee was an honest accident. So an accident washes everything clean. If someone gets run over in a car accident, does a simple sorry close the entire case, Jason?" Her tone turned very severe. "Stop talking nonsense. How can you compare film to human lives? If the photos are gone, just reshoot them. Is it really that serious?" On the phone, Mr. Taylor sounded quite worried. "Jason, are you okay? Did something bad happen at home?" I sighed and replied, "I probably cannot send you the original film for now, Mr. Taylor. I will find a chance to shoot a new set soon." "All right, no rush. Your visa will not be ready for another half-month anyway." "Okay." Evelyn immediately locked on to the keyword visa. "You want to go abroad?" I just hung up the phone. I forced myself to calm down, then quietly began cleaning up the massive war zone on the floor. Mr. Taylor's visa simply expired. He is older and it is hard for him to travel, so he asked me to help apply. "You are lying," Evelyn coldly sneered. "Does Mr. Taylor's son not live in the country? Why would he not ask his own son?" I rolled my eyes. "Why not call him and ask? I am not that bored." "Then stop asking so many questions." I spent the entire long night cleaning my bedroom. I did not even plan to take the clothes and shoes Trent had stained and tossed around. I just shoved them all into a dark corner of the closet. I saved some film rolls, but the originals were totally ruined. Trust me, we are going to love what happens next. Stick with me here. My liquid chemicals completely leaked out, powders ruined by moisture. Today was just Trent testing the waters. He sent me a WeChat message, waited exactly 2 minutes, and then unsent it right before the timer ran out. This way, he guaranteed I saw it without leaving any digital evidence. But after his last trick, I was totally ready. The second that message appeared, I screenshotted it. Smirking, I sent the picture right back to his phone. This time around, Trent went completely silent for ages. It was honestly so hilarious. Did he actually believe his petty little tricks would work every single time while I sat there clueless? He vastly underestimated my skills. About 10 minutes later, Trent finally replied, "Jason, what does this mean?" I typed back. "No meaning, just a warning." After sending that epic reply, I completely turned off my phone. I did not care if he unsent it anymore. I just did not care. How would Evelyn even react to this? From the very day I decided to leave, I really should not have held on to any hope regarding her. The next morning during breakfast, Mr. Vance noticed I looked super exhausted and asked, "Jason, did you stay awake all night? You look exhausted." "I just did not sleep well, but I am fine," I replied. "A few days of rest works." "Mr. Vance is completely right," Trent chimed in cheerfully. "You need to take excellent care of your health these next few days. You will be extremely busy at Evelyn's wedding." I looked up shocked. "The wedding date is set. Yes, next weekend. Did Evelyn not tell you?" Mr. Vance sighed heavily. "This girl used to tell you every tiny detail, but now she keeps a massive event like a wedding, a total secret. Now pay attention here. I checked the calendar and the wedding day was exactly the same day as my flight." Evelyn and Trent casually walked out of their bedroom. Trent acted like absolutely nothing happened, smiling widely. "Jason, I have already talked it over with Evelyn. You are going to be our amazing lead wedding photographer. You have to make sure I look incredibly handsome." I instantly rejected his idea. "I have big plans that day. I cannot go." Trent pouted sadly. "Are you still angry about yesterday? Can I just apologize if you are mad? I will kneel and beg for your forgiveness," saying that his knees actually started buckling. Evelyn quickly yanked him right back up. "He never deserves your kneeling." Seeing this dramatic mess, Mr. Vance intervened. "Trent, no, you do not need to do that. Jason simply treasures those films. Being angry is totally normal, but not serious enough for kneeling. I just feel like I completely mess everything up," Trent whined pathetically. "So sorry, Jason." Evelyn gently comforted him. "Just be more careful next time. Let us eat. Were you not just starving?" Trent giggled softly and stuck out his tongue. "Well, whose fault is that if you had not kept me up making a fuss? Why would I be exhausted and hungry? It is your fault. Sit down and eat," Evelyn gently said, pulling a chair out and helping him sit like absolute royalty, even handing him a nice napkin. After getting him fully settled, she finally sat down. Spreading sweet jam on her toast, she commanded Jason, "My wedding is next weekend. Whatever plans you have, just drop them. You are absolutely going to be our wedding photographer. Consider it the perfect ending to our 20-plus years of growing up together." "You heard that too, right?" The maid opened the door to a stranger. "Excuse me, who are you looking for?" It was a simply dressed, middle-aged woman. She smiled warmly and asked, "Hello, is Mr. Jason home? I am from a charity organization. He contacted me saying he had a massive batch of clothes to donate to poor areas in the mountains. We scheduled the pickup for today." I immediately stood straight up. "I am Jason. The clothes are packed. Please wait a moment while I go upstairs." I went up, stuffed all my remaining clothes into several large bags, and brought them down to her. She was incredibly grateful. "Thank you so much for your kindness, Mr. Jason. The weather is getting cold and many mountain boys lack enough warm clothes for winter. This generous donation will genuinely help a lot of people. It is absolutely nothing. Please have your people move these into your truck." "Yes, I will do that. Please wait here." Evelyn suddenly walked right over, looking super suspicious. She stared down at the 6 or 7 massive clothing bags on the floor, frowning. "You are donating all your clothes?" Mr. Vance looked extremely surprised. "Jason, even if you want to do charity, we can just donate money. Why give away all your clothes? It is getting cold. What will you wear?" I looked directly at Evelyn, chuckled lightly, and said, "Did you not say you wanted to help Trent compensate me? I'm tired of these clothes. I do not want them anymore. Once I get the money, I will buy brand new ones." "Any problem?" Evelyn stared at me quietly, then nodded. "Fine. How much do you want? I will transfer it right now." Confidently, I held up one single finger. 1 million fine. "No," I corrected. 10 million. Trent immediately lost his temper. How can a few old outfits be worth a massive 10 million? Glaring coldly, I turned to Evelyn. "Trust me, we are demanding 10 million. All right, stick with me. We are diving into some serious drama. Evelyn bought me these clothes, but since I am officially leaving, her belongings and her cash stay completely behind. Just like she made crystal clear this was the Vance mansion. I was nobody here. $10 million to wipe my debt. 20 years of memories gone. She looked annoyed. Jason, what exactly are you trying to pull here today? Should I transfer the funds or not? Fine, whatever. She hesitated briefly, but eventually wired the cash. A promise kept, she declared. Consider this as compensation from Trent for everything. And do not ever dare to bother him over this again. I checked my balance, $10 million richer immediately. I gave a faint smile. Relax, that will absolutely never happen again. And regarding the wedding, having me shoot photos is his ultimate dream. You seriously need to be there for us. I pondered it silently. My flight was booked for that exact night, so I simply nodded and agreed. But leading right up to the big event, I completely avoided the Vance house. I headed out to the country, snapped a gorgeous set of bird photos, and forwarded them to Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor was absolutely ecstatic and video called me right away. Jason, your lighting and color grading are totally next level right now. The European magazine publishers are going to fiercely battle to get you on board. Once you land, we will meet them all and choose the best offer. Getting that validation felt absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor. Oh, right. Did you inform your sister? She agreed to let you build your career in Europe, right? I grinned. She is super eager for my departure. Awesome, then you have zero things to stress about. Shocking, honestly. I fully expected telling her would be pure chaos. I asked for Mr. Taylor's address and shipped out all my heavy photography gear early so he could safely stash it away before my grand arrival. When Evelyn and Trent's massive wedding day finally rolled around, I simply borrowed a camera from the planners. Watch closely now. Trent finally locked down his ultimate wealthy bride. He could not mask that arrogant victory smirk, especially seeing me on camera duty. He literally strutted around the venue like absolute royalty. While Evelyn greeted guests, he aggressively yanked her aside completely, demanding couple shots with him instead. Mr. Vance felt awful and quickly stepped in. Trent, you have snapped enough pictures already. Give Jason a break. He is a professional, Trent fired back. Taking a few more shots will not exhaust him, right? Jason. Mr. Vance glared, displeased. I will summon the official company photographer to handle you. Jason really deserves a solid break. But their guy is nowhere near Jason's elite skill level. This is our grandest day. An absolute once-in-a-lifetime moment for Evelyn and me. Jason simply has to capture our absolute peak happiness. I stayed totally silent. After clicking the absolute final shot, I returned the gear and walked away. Mr. Vance hurried after me in a panic. Jason, where exactly are you heading? Where exactly are... I flashed a warm smile. Mr. Vance, Evelyn has Trent by her side now. You really need to make sure you focus on your own health. You foolish kid. You are basically my son too. You still have me. I gripped his hands warmly. I will forever be your son. Mr. Vance exhaled heavily. Jason, honestly, I truly believed you would end up as my son-in-law. That you would finally call me dad. Who actually knew Evelyn would choose a different guy? Mr. Vance let us drop the subject entirely. Right, we will. My phone buzzed. Mr. Taylor calling. Jason, are you waiting at the airport yet? When do you touch down? My wife and I are driving over to grab you. I am heading there now. See you in 8 hours, Mr. Taylor. I disconnected and verified the time. Departure was fast approaching. I never even looked back at the old Vance family house. I just jumped into a taxi heading straight for departures. While waiting in line to check in, Trent texted me yet another annoying message. Jason Huge, thanks for personally shooting our wedding. Evelyn and I absolutely adore the stunning photos. You saw that coming, right? He demands I call him Big Brother now, wishing them perfect happiness. I let out a dry laugh and screenshotted it. This time I forwarded the screenshot directly to Evelyn. Wishing you a happy marriage, sister. Goodbye forever. Done. I blocked Evelyn and Trent on absolutely everything. From this exact moment, they were permanently deleted from my world. A flight attendant smiled warmly and greeted me. Sir, wishing you a completely safe and pleasant journey. Thank you so much. I am very happy. Without looking back, I boarded. The very second the plane touched down at Milan Airport, I finally felt a massive, heavy weight lift off my shoulders. Mr. Taylor said he and his wife were picking me up, but I clearly spotted a third mysterious person. Jason, right over here. I walked over with a huge smile, giving Mrs. Taylor a big hug first. She looked as youthful and beautiful as ever. Then I waved at Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, if you do not start taking better care of yourself, you will not be worthy of your stunning wife anymore, Mr. Taylor burst out laughing. You little brat roasting your teacher, and trust me, you and I just witnessed the perfect fresh start here. All right, stick with me here. I am not roasting you. That thick beard basically screams seasoned veteran photographer vibes, totally rivaling Mark Seliger. Mr. Taylor just laughed playfully, scolding me. He joked that my sister Evelyn absolutely spoiled me rotten since childhood. Zero respect. Mentioning Evelyn, Mrs. Taylor curiously asked if I came completely alone without my sister seeing me off. Mr. Taylor peeked right behind me. Did she grab your luggage, Jason? A real gentleman should always carry the heavy bags. I just looped my arms right around Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, pulling them along. I am a grown man. I do not need anyone seeing me off. I came entirely solo. Come on, let us move. I am completely starving. The Taylors sensed zero issues, happily walking out with me. But suddenly a third person rushed right after us. Wait, Mr. Taylor slapped his forehead, laughing loud. Look at my terrible memory leaving our driver behind. Honestly, I noticed her immediately. She looked around 25, standing tall with an incredibly beautiful and perfectly elegant face. Wearing a beige cardigan, her gentle smile made her look unbelievably soft and approachable. Mr. Taylor quickly introduced her to me. Meet your senior, Sophie. Remember her? I racked my brain hard, then just shook my head completely blankly. So sorry. Is senior Sophie your student too? Mr. Taylor burst into hearty laughter. You seriously remember absolutely nothing, no impression whatsoever. Sophie instantly blushed, looking super embarrassed. Mr. Taylor, please do not bring up the past. Just save me some face. Mr. Taylor laughed even louder. All right, fine, I will drop it. Or hey, maybe you can bring it up yourself later. Growing incredibly flustered, Sophie quickly sprinted ahead. I will go grab the car. You guys just wait at the exit. I just stared at Sophie, feeling totally confused. Catching my utterly lost expression, Mrs. Taylor stepped in to kindly explain. Now watch closely. Delivering a college love letter, my eyes instantly widened in pure, unadulterated shock. Oh, memory unlocked. That entire incident was a massive misunderstanding. I definitely did not write that crazy love letter. I was purely the delivery guy for my college roommate. He had a massive crush on a senior but was too shy. Being the absolute ultimate bro, I totally volunteered to act as his wingman and drop off the message. I finally spotted the perfect opportunity while the target girl was sketching downstairs. Handing her the letter, I tried explaining, but incredibly nosy girls snatched it and read it aloud to the whole massive crowd. Now normal love letters are packed with super flowery romantic poetry. But my timid roommate wrote something totally unhinged. Opening line, you used to be really lazy. Second line, now you actually look decent. I instantly turned to solid stone. The poor girl was utterly stunned. The atmosphere catastrophically awkward. Panicking, she looked right at me, apologized profusely, and frantically chased after her terrible friends. The crazy result, that aggressively bizarre love letter practically made me a legendary campus meme overnight. However, Evelyn was extremely unhappy. I explained 1,000,000 times it was a complete misunderstanding and I did not even write the letter. Evelyn was absolutely furious. The consequences severe. You and I both know that is wild. She actually convinced the president to send that senior abroad for an exchange program. In harsh reality, Evelyn just wanted her completely banished from my life forever. I felt immensely guilty. Sent overseas, the red string of fate between her and my roommate mercilessly snapped before forming. Truly star-crossed lovers. Because of that intense drama, Evelyn and I fought a cold war for ages. Waiting at the busy airport exit, Sophie finally drove right up. Slowly stopping, she rolled down the window. Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Taylor, Jason, just hop in. The wildly lovey-dovey Taylors practically dived into the back seat together, leaving only the front passenger seat completely wide open for me. Standing outside, I hesitated. Jason, why are you not getting in? Sophie curiously asked. I paused, then casually asked, Senior, do you have a boyfriend? That unexpected question completely stunned everyone. Mrs. Taylor quickly covered her mouth, secretly giggling while winking at Mr. Taylor. A knowing nod, basically screaming, it is game time. Mr. Taylor instantly caught on, flashing a sly smile. Even Sophie looked visibly taken aback and deeply confused. I calmly explained, the passenger seat means a lot. If you have a boyfriend, I will just squeeze into the back with them. Sophie frantically waved her hands in pure panic. I do not have a boyfriend. Just get in. I finally took the seat. As we moved, Mrs. Taylor spoke gently. Jason, no need to act so overly polite. You and Sophie are definitely not strangers, I replied respectfully. So what do you and I learn? Even familiar adults absolutely need proper, strict boundaries. Come along with me on this wild ride. This was a serious lesson. Evelyn personally taught me something I would absolutely never forget. Mrs. Taylor chuckled, telling her husband, "See, look how amazingly well-behaved our Jason is. Incredible manners. You can instantly tell he is such a wonderful kid." Mr. Taylor firmly nodded in total agreement. Absolutely. Jason's older sister truly treated him well, raising him into an incredibly outstanding young man. Who would ever think a young woman could be so amazing at raising a kid? Why call it raising a kid? Mrs. Taylor playfully scolded him right back. You make Evelyn sound like she is from our generation. She's actually very young, Jason. I recall your sister is just 5 years older than you, right? So she must be in her early 30s. Does she have a boyfriend yet, mister? Taylor quickly tried pulling his wife back. Are you totally addicted to matchmaking? Evelyn is not like Jason. Her marriage isn't something to joke about, true? Mrs. Taylor nodded with eager agreement. With her high status and background, she will probably marry into an incredibly wealthy and powerful family, even without a corporate marriage. Exactly. Plus, Evelyn is incredibly picky. Let's not get involved, I calmly chimed in. Thank you, Mrs. Taylor, but she already has a boyfriend. Both Mr. and Mrs. Taylor were completely shocked. Since when? Why haven't you mentioned this? I simply smiled bitterly. How could I possibly say it, that my decision to move abroad was entirely thanks to this new boyfriend? Well, Trent is not just a boyfriend anymore. The exact day I got on that plane, he married Evelyn. I guess he should be called Mr. Vance now. I'm grown up now. We have our own lives. We don't interact much anymore. My words were simply laced with clear distance and alienation. Mrs. Taylor looked visibly worried. Jason, then your decision to go abroad, was it because of your sister's boyfriend? Did he say something because he could not tolerate you? Mr. Taylor quickly intervened. Jason going abroad is obviously for much better career prospects. I took a deep breath and nodded firmly. Exactly. Since I just arrived and hadn't found a new place yet, I temporarily stayed right here at Mr. Taylor's cozy house. Mrs. Taylor already prepared a room for me. I laid on the large, soft bed, quietly staring at the bright moonlight right outside the window. Everything felt unfamiliar, almost unreal. I had firmly decided to completely sever ties with Evelyn. From now on, my new life truly started here. Meanwhile, in a bridal chamber plastered with red double happiness symbols, Trent didn't dare say a word. I completely disappeared. Halfway through the wedding, Evelyn simply couldn't find me anywhere. Here's where it gets interesting. She totally abandoned Trent alone on stage before a massive crowd, personally leading a huge search party to find me. Trent felt incredibly wronged. He waited until she finally came home, originally planning to throw a dramatic tantrum, act super cute, and cry to get her sympathy. But instead, Evelyn looked at him with open disgust, coldly telling him to stay away from her. Trent fiercely gritted his teeth, wishing he could totally destroy me. I did it on purpose. I just had to cause a massive scene at his wedding purely to ruin his big day with Evelyn. Evelyn, he approached cautiously, trying to nuzzle into her embrace. You have been super busy all day. Let's rest early. As he spoke, he unbuttoned his jacket, revealing pink lingerie underneath, silently sending an invitation. But this bold action made Evelyn instantly explode with rage. I told you to stay the heck away from me! Do you not understand human speech? She violently ripped her arm from his grasp, terrifying Trent so much, his face quickly turned completely ghost white. Evelyn, I know you're worried, but Jason is an adult. He'll be perfectly fine. Do not mention him. The moment my name was dropped, Evelyn's aura turned completely freezing cold. You and I both know this feeling, right? Suddenly, a call came. She answered, and the news made her furious. If you cannot find him, keep looking. How does a living, breathing person just vanish? If anything happens to Jason, you all know the exact consequences. She hung up her face, brewing a Category 5 hurricane. Coincidentally, another phone call came right in. This time, Evelyn didn't answer immediately. She stared blankly at the mysterious number on her screen for a long time. Trent noticed her expression shift to sheer panic. Her hand simply began trembling uncontrollably. When she finally picked up, her voice was shaking heavily. Officer Davis, did you find him, Clatter? The phone quickly dropped to the floor. Evelyn looked as if her soul was sucked right out of her body, standing completely paralyzed. Fortunately, the phone was durable and the impact accidentally switched on the speakerphone. Officer Davis's serious voice echoed through the room. We did find a male figure at the East Suburb Reservoir. Based on the age and clothing, it is highly likely to be Mr. Jason. Trent heard this loud and clear. I was gone. Did I just give up? Did I love Evelyn so deeply that I ended it all on her wedding day? But a second later, Trent had another sudden thought. Evelyn loved him so deeply. If I really passed away because of this, she would definitely blame herself. And I would become the eternal, absolutely untouchable moonlight in her heart. So what do you and I think? No one beats a lost first love. No one replaces them. Their power is unshakable. But so what? Stick with me here. If Jason was totally out of the picture, Evelyn would belong entirely to him. A smug smirk appeared on Trent's face, but he knew better than to celebrate just yet. He aggressively pinched his leg, using the sharp pain to instantly force fake tears from his eyes. He took a deep breath, covered his face, and let those fake tears completely fall. Jason, how could this tragedy happen? Did he face a problem he could not fix? He should have told his older brother. I could have helped him! Shut up! Evelyn screamed back furiously. Who said that was Jason? Terrified by her scolding, Trent instantly stopped his fake crying. Didn't Officer Davis just say it was highly likely? Highly likely does not mean certain. Jason is an incredibly strong guy. He would never give up. Evelyn immediately stood up, ready to storm out. Trent bit his lip, grabbing her arm in a totally pathetic display of victimhood. Where are you going? Today is our wedding night. Are you seriously leaving me all alone? Evelyn slowly turned around, glaring with pure danger. Trent, you better learn your absolute place right now. Just who do you think you are? She frowned deeply. Did you cause Jason to vanish today? Trent instantly denied everything. I was the groom today. I wore suits all day, constantly surrounded by makeup artists. I barely even spoke 2 sentences to him. Evelyn stormed out, quickly dropping one absolutely final warning. If I find out Jason vanishing has anything to do with you, Trent, you know exactly how this ends. Shivering with total fear, Trent finally released her sleeve. That very night, Evelyn quickly rushed to the East Suburb Reservoir. She was guided toward a tragic figure under a white sheet. Officer Davis pointed to an evidence bag and showed it. These exact items were recovered directly from the water. They seem to be his clothes. Can you confirm if these belong to Mr. Jason? Evelyn did not even need to examine them closely. Watch closely now. That light blue shirt was Jason's favorite. For his 18th birthday, she had personally gifted it to him. 7 years had officially passed. The style felt outdated and the color completely faded, but it remained his absolute favorite shirt. Miss Vance, Evelyn spoke incredibly faintly. It is his. The officer nodded sympathetically. Miss Vance, my absolute deepest condolences. Such a young man leaving this world so soon. It is truly a tragedy. Evelyn stayed completely silent for a long time. Officer Davis figured she was overwhelmed by grief and gave her space, gently offering comforting words instead. I heard Mr. Jason was an incredibly talented photographer. Artists often tend to be a little bit more emotionally fragile and super sensitive. He wasn't fragile. Officer Davis paused. My deepest apologies. I misspoke. Evelyn shook her head. That is not Jason. But didn't you just identify those clothes as his? He donated all his clothes. Evelyn aggressively yanked the white sheet right off the tragic figure. Everyone nearby jumped in pure shock, especially Officer Davis. Miss Vance, what are you doing? When Evelyn finally saw the guy's face, all the strength completely drained from her. Mrs. Vance, are you all right? Evelyn closed her eyes, letting out a massive sigh of relief. It is not him, thank goodness, Mrs. Vance. Your phone is ringing right now. Do you want to answer? Evelyn checked her glowing screen. It was just Trent again. She instantly declined it. Trent called again. She declined again. By try number 3, Evelyn had completely lost all of her patience. What do you want? The caller on the other end was totally startled by her fury. Their voice trembled slightly. Apologies for disturbing you, Miss Vance. Now pay attention here. You have a package. Is it convenient to sign for it? Evelyn replied. A package for me. Yes, I delivered it straight to your villa gates. Are you available to sign? I am busy. Understood. Totally sorry to bother you. I will contact you again tomorrow. Wait. Evelyn suddenly realized something important. Who sent it? It says it is from Mr. Jason. Evelyn fell silent. She quietly ordered her staff. I need to head back immediately. Just wait right here for me. Evelyn drove home faster than she ever had in her entire life. She happened to run into the delivery guy at the residential gate, but his hands were empty. Where is my package? Evelyn grabbed his shirt. Didn't you say I had Jason's package? The delivery guy was absolutely terrified. Miss Vance, Mr. Vance already signed for it. I just handed it to him. There is no Mr. Vance in my house. He is not. She stopped. The guy who just claimed to be Mr. Vance was obviously Trent. Furious, Evelyn stormed right into the villa. Where is Trent? At that exact moment, Trent was hiding in the bathroom having an absolute full-blown panic attack. He was furiously throwing the contents of a mysterious box right into the toilet and aggressively jamming the flush button. But just a second later, the bathroom door was fiercely kicked open by Evelyn. She snatched the box right from Trent and anxiously flipped through it. It was full of photos of her from her teenage years, slowly blossoming into a mature woman, photos in her school uniform wearing a basketball jersey. In business suits, cozy loungewear, front profiles, side profiles, back profiles, absolutely all of them were of her, all taken by Jason. Some she knew about, some she had zero idea existed. Candid shots Jason took secretly. That is where we leave it, from his unpolished attempts to those masterful compositions where his skills finally peaked. Stick with me. These pictures were my practice log with her as my sole muse. Though my early skills were rough, the pure heart poured into every single shot was absolutely undeniable. Her whole being radiated this golden, magical glow. My love flowing through the lens was completely overflowing, practically bursting out. Later on, my lens captured her becoming a mature woman, fiercely focused at work or eating with such gentle grace. Every picture was her. Evelyn frantically flipped through them, crying, then laughing, then crying all over again. I liked her. I was using these very photos to silently confess that I liked her. I had adored her since we were kids. Reaching the absolute last picture, Evelyn totally froze. It was a wedding shot taken by my very own hands. Wearing a white gown, her arm linked with another man. Suddenly her heart throbbed with a violent, agonizing wave of pain. She pressed one hand against her chest, the photo slipping right through her fingers. Ignoring that intense ache, she scrambled to grab it, only to spot hidden writing on the back. It was my distinct handwriting. She picked it up, reading every single word carefully. Evelyn, starting from today, I really should change how I address you. I should truly call you my sister. Sister, I wish you endless happiness. Evelyn suddenly felt like a massive hole ripped open her chest, freezing winds howling right through it. Now pay attention here. She frantically flipped every photo over. Evelyn, you looked so incredibly cool playing basketball today. Evelyn, I am 18 now. I am a grown adult. I want to choose the person I love. I like you. Did you know, Evelyn? I caught you on camera again. You look so scary, fiercely lecturing everyone, but you have never been fierce with me. Does that mean I am a little bit special, Evelyn? We will be together forever, right? But honestly, I am feeling less and less sure. Can you please just give me a clear answer? Evelyn, I honestly did not write that love letter, but seeing you get so incredibly furious over me proves you still care, right? Evelyn, do you actually like me? Or am I just a little brother? Evelyn noticed this photo was torn right in half, obviously ripped apart. The back only had this name Evelyn. The rest was totally missing. Evelyn absolutely lost her mind, grabbing Trent fiercely by his wrist. Where is the other half? Evelyn, please stop this. You are scaring me. I asked you, where is the other half? Trent stammered out, pointing toward the bathroom, saying he tore it up and flushed it. Evelyn violently shoved his arm, sending Trent crashing hard onto the floor. Evelyn, Trent trembled, desperately trying to explain. Jason actually had weird thoughts about you. He sent these to you. What if they leaked to the media? It would be a total disaster. It would ruin your reputation. I was just trying to protect you by destroying them. Get out. I do not want you here anymore. I am your husband, Evelyn. Jason is gone forever. Let me stay beside you. Trent scrambled up, desperately trying to pull her into a hug. You and I both know she is completely done. Evelyn showed zero mercy, shoving him down, towering over him with a furious warning. I really do not want to get physical. Get the hell out yourself. Evelyn, please go. Trent knew she was on the absolute brink of exploding. Okay, I will go to the kitchen and cook for you. You must be starving. I will go right now. Evelyn warned him, enunciating every single word. Get out of Jason and my house. Security made a quick trip. Trent, along with his pathetic belongings, was literally thrown outside. Only then did Evelyn feel the house finally grow peacefully quiet. She hugged the precious photo box tightly, gently tracing her own face in the pictures with trembling fingertips. I had arrived at the Vance family home as a kid. Even my handwriting had been taught by her carefully guiding my little hand stroke by single stroke. "Jason, where exactly are you right now?" Evelyn held the box like a priceless ancient artifact. "Jason, where are you?" I jolted awake from my dream. Mrs. Taylor noticed my pale face and asked if I just had a bad nightmare. I finally snapped back to reality completely. Today, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor took me out planning to introduce the chief editor of a foreign magazine, but they got delayed by an emergency and would not arrive until 11 in the morning. I had been feeling super restless lately, so I ended up accidentally dozing off on the restaurant sofa. Sophie handed me a tissue with her pale, clean hands. I paused for a quick second before taking it. "Thanks, Senior Sophie." I wiped the cold sweat from my forehead, still slightly immersed in that awful nightmare. Sophie smiled warmly. "A nightmare. It is fine. You are awake now. Scary things disappear when you wake up. You have Mr. Taylor, Mrs. Taylor, and me right here by your side." Mrs. Taylor intentionally added, "And what else?" Sophie chuckled shyly, pointing at the bright sunlight outside. "And this beautiful weather, getting sun will definitely boost your mood." Mrs. Taylor laughed out loud, deciding not to hold back at all. "And sunshine keeping our dear Jason company. Makes you wonder what happens next, right?" Sophie blushed deeply while Mrs. Taylor looked super worried. "Stick with me here," Mrs. Taylor reassures Jason before his interview. "The editor is super funny, totally chilled out, and an old friend. She actually loves his photography already." Jason nods, trying to shake off the lingering shadows of a really bad dream. When asked what he dreamed about, he simply answers the past. Why, though? Mrs. Taylor insists his sister spoiled him completely, so it should totally be a sweet memory. Jason freezes up, unable to explain the truth, but thankfully Sophie jumps right in to save him. Sophie gently points out that nobody lives a perfect life. Jason clearly has his own hidden struggles. Mrs. Taylor wonders if his sister was just way too strict. Mr. Taylor mentioned it once, but older relatives always worry too much, right? They stress over everything. She assumes his sister was simply overprotective. Hearing this, Sophie quickly turns to face Mrs. Taylor. She firmly reminds her Jason is an independent guy. They really need to stop mentioning Evelyn constantly. Looking totally confused, Mrs. Taylor catches Jason's silent agreement and finally nods. Fine, she promises to drop the sister topic entirely. Jason shoots Sophie a super grateful look, thanking his senior. Honestly, it is not about being unable to let go. The exact second he boarded that plane, he decided to completely move on, but his entire life was deeply tangled with Evelyn's. Classmates, friends, or even teachers, literally everyone who spoke to him would eventually bring up Evelyn. He has to admit Sophie understands him perfectly. Escaping Evelyn is his only way to feel truly independent. No longer tying his emotions to someone else, he is finally unburdened. Pure freedom remains. The editor-in-chief finally arrives, and she is indeed a hilariously charming woman. Now pay attention here. The very first thing she asks upon seeing him is whether they have met before. Jason is fully focused, ready to absolutely crush this big interview. He cheekily introduces himself, teasing that her classic pickup line is a little outdated. The editor instantly bursts out laughing. She calls him hilarious, but Jason fires back that his photography skills are absolute top tier. Confident, charming, funny, and clever, far away from Evelyn, our boy can finally shine entirely on his own. Before he leaves, the editor eagerly pushes him to start. Their magazine just scored an exclusive interview. The subject has a crazy background, and they desperately need a brilliant photographer. If Jason is up for the challenge, he can report anytime. He accepts, but right before parting, she adds that her earlier question was definitely not a pickup line. She seriously feels like she has seen him before. Jason calmly replies he just arrived in Milan. Maybe she saw a look-alike. She lets it go with a maybe. But after parting ways, the editor sits quietly in her car, completely racking her brain for the answer. Where did she see him? Her driver casually asks if the boss likes the kid. The editor instantly shoots that down. He is way younger, just a little brother to her, but then a massive light bulb suddenly goes off in her head. She finally remembers where she saw him. Meanwhile, Evelyn receives a sudden phone call while talking seriously with Officer Davis. After searching for days with absolutely zero results, the officer advises her to prepare for the worst, but Evelyn stubbornly refuses to accept that reality. The officer lays it out simply. Jason completely vanished right from her big wedding. No luggage, no wallet. He took absolutely nothing with him, and so much time has passed. With zero distress calls coming in, Miss Vance really needs to mentally prepare herself. Suddenly, Evelyn's phone rings loudly. I know what you are thinking, who is calling. It is Eric saying he just spotted her brother. Evelyn barely remembers surviving the agonizing 8-hour flight. Hearing Eric's massive news, her first reaction is pure disbelief. He fled to Milan. She instantly has people check the airport passenger manifests, but there is zero record of him boarding. Still, she mostly feels profound relief. At least he is around. He is alive, and that is simply good enough for her. But immediately after, a huge tidal wave of pure anger completely consumes her. Why on earth did he leave without a word? Even for a career abroad, why never mention it? Meanwhile, Jason scores a brand new apartment and leaves Mr. Taylor's house completely behind. Being a guest was nice and they adored him, but he refused to impose any longer. Knowing this, his amazing senior, Sophie, quickly volunteers to help him move out. Since he arrived totally empty-handed with zero luggage, moving into a fresh place means hitting the mall to buy some awesome new home decor. While calmly strolling through a fabric store, he pops into the restroom. Stepping out, Sophie is still waiting right there. However, she is now randomly accompanied by a super cute 2- or 3-year-old toddler. She crouches down, playing with the kid who happily waves its arms. Clearly loving her company, Jason calls out to senior Sophie. Seeing him approach, Sophie just smiles and casually explains, the baby's mom went to the restroom. The mom asked her to watch the kid. Surprised, Jason asks if they know each other. Nope. She seriously just trusted a random stranger with her baby. So what do you and I make of this? A flustered Sophie admits that whenever she goes out, strangers always ask her for random help. Let us dive in. Sophie was honestly an incredibly gentle, thoughtful, and kind person. She and Evelyn were total opposites. Jason, I want to tell you something. Go ahead. I like you. I looked up. Sophie seemed shy but completely gathered her courage. Honestly, back in college, I already liked you. But after that love letter disaster happened, I got sent abroad. I never even got the chance to confess. So this time when Mr. Taylor said you finally agreed to come abroad, I was absolutely thrilled. Honestly, I was not even that surprised. Since arriving in Milan, even with her official senior title, Sophie had clearly gone way beyond what any normal casual acquaintance would ever do. I was no kid. I saw the signs. Truthfully, I actually liked the idea of Sophie. I truly thought she was an amazing person. I just never expected her to confess this fast. I asked, we have only been hanging out for a short time. Is this not way too fast? Life is far too short. Sophie smiled. I lacked courage before, and we lost 7 years. This time I refuse to hide in the shadows nursing a secret crush anymore. I must tell you my feelings. I expect rejection, but I totally refuse to stay silent. That just leads to missing out. Her words truly stirred my heart. I loved Evelyn for years, constantly waiting for her to confess. Was it ever really that complicated? I could have just taken charge and told Evelyn my feelings. Even facing rejection, the absolute worst-case scenario would just be our current situation right now. Jason, no need to answer me right away. Just think it over. Now watch carefully. Before she could finish, a strong force yanked me backward into a tight embrace. That familiar perfume hit, and I instantly knew. Nobody knew her embrace better than me. Yet after just a few days, it suddenly felt incredibly foreign. It really is you. Thank goodness you are perfectly fine. This is wonderful. Let us head home. Jason, who is this? I pushed Evelyn away, creating a very appropriate and polite distance. I calmly spoke up. Let me introduce everyone. My sister. Evelyn frowned, clearly hating that title. Sister Jason, the photos you sent me, I saw everything. I stayed totally nonchalant. Oh, but Trent destroyed a few of them, I replied so casually. Your husband can handle your belongings however he wants. He is not mine. Evelyn desperately grabbed my shoulders. Jason, no, I never married him. Realizing you were missing, I immediately canceled the whole wedding. I searched absolutely everywhere for you. A boy even made a tragic choice wearing your donated clothes, and I truly thought you were gone. I frowned. Sister, let go. It hurts. Stop calling me sister. I smiled. Fine, Mrs. Vance. Is that better? Evelyn was utterly furious. Jason, taking a breath, I slowly and deliberately peeled her iron grip off my shoulders. Stepping back, I stood beside Sophie. I was not finished earlier. Miss Vance, meet my girlfriend, Sophie. Sophie looked totally shocked. Guess who was more shocked? Evelyn. How long have you known her? Already your girlfriend. Jason, stop joking around. Sister, just knowing someone longer does not mean the relationship is stronger. My words carried a heavy double meaning. There is no way Evelyn missed that. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to calm down. Jason, can we please just talk, sister? We have absolutely nothing left to discuss. Your new husband is waiting for you. I am living a great life in Milan. Good job. Someone right by my side. Thanks for taking care of me all these years. I will repay you and the Vance family. I do not want your damn repayment. Then what do you want? Evelyn choked on her words. I want you. But staring into my ice-cold eyes, she could not bring herself to say it. Sister, go home. You already let one man down. Do not let Trent down too. He is not my man, Jason. Just give me 10 minutes, okay? I just want to explain everything. My girlfriend and I are totally busy right now. Next time, maybe. I gently grabbed Sophie by the hand and she followed as we walked away. After walking quite a distance, Sophie quietly said to me, Your sister still has not left. She is just standing there. Do not look back at her. Let us look at other furniture. Do we really just ignore her? She looks lonely. I chuckled. She just got married. She holds a husband in her heart. How could she ever be lonely? Sophie spent that entire afternoon walking through the busy mall right beside me. I bought a bunch of anime figures I liked, some cool wall art, and a giant stuffed bear that was literally even wider than Sophie. Picture this. As she lugged that massive bear around the mall, everyone just stared. Sophie felt a bit embarrassed, asking if she looked absolutely ridiculous. I stayed quiet, but two girls walking past immediately answered that for her. Stick with me here, this romance is getting real. Sophie blushed super hard, awkwardly, trying to excuse her total shyness. She blamed the giant bear for being too warm. Honestly, I could not help but laugh. Having a girl this incredibly sweet and gentle might actually be perfect. Finally, I would not have to constantly guess if she actually loved me. She proved it with actions. When Sophie finally drove me home, it was already dark outside. Acting super polite, Sophie declined going inside, just helping drop my heavy stuff at the door. I asked why she was standing out there and invited her right in. Sophie still felt shy. She nervously asked if what I said today was true. Did I really mean the boyfriend part? I thought about it for just a second, then gave a firm nod. Absolutely true. I accepted her bold confession, but honestly explained that my feelings were just at the dating stage. I had not quite reached true love yet. I suggested we slowly get to know each other. Sophie looked absolutely ecstatic and asked if I meant it. I nodded. She admitted she thought I was just faking it to make my sister jealous. Was I doing all of this totally on purpose? I sighed heavily. Maybe in the past, sure, but right now I am completely serious. I truly want to start a brand new life. Sophie nervously asked if I used to like my sister. Since I never hid it, I just nodded and honestly admitted it. I totally expected her to act shocked about those inappropriate past feelings or maybe interrogate me about my current life plans. Instead, she aggressively helped drag that giant bear inside, looking super sweaty and completely out of breath. I literally burst out laughing. I asked what she was doing. I thought she would ask if I still liked my sister. She just smiled brightly, wiping away sweat. I already said it was in the past, so she chose to believe me. Time passed peacefully. After that crazy mall encounter, Evelyn basically vanished and did not show up again. Honestly, I rarely thought about Evelyn anymore. Sophie treated me amazingly, giving me affection that never felt desperate or overly clingy. Her love was a slow, steady comfort. That peaceful stability made me feel secure and ready to move forward. One morning, a super early call came from the Milan magazine head editor. He said his friend was a host interviewing a major celebrity today. It was that huge guest we talked about last time. They desperately needed a brilliant photographer. He asked if I could help, and I easily agreed to go. They wanted me on set immediately to discuss the fine details. He promised to send the location and contact info right away. The editor was absolutely thrilled I would fill in. Knowing this was super urgent, I did not waste a single second catching a quick cab to rush there at top speed. By the time I finally arrived, the whole crew and equipment were ready. Now pay attention, because here is where it gets crazy. They needed a photographer. I scanned the noisy room, and someone totally unexpected suddenly caught my eye. The set was absolutely packed and noisy, but even just standing quietly there, Evelyn was easily the most striking person in the room. I never expected the massive socialite guest to actually be her. She had not gone back home. Was she in Milan this entire time, calmly analyzing everything? I was surprised I felt zero complicated, lingering emotions about seeing her again. It was not until Evelyn awkwardly looked over that our eyes locked from across the room. Neither of us stepped up to say hello, but Jeff noticed her awkward gaze and looked over with totally suspicious eyes. Suddenly, his face just lit up with pure joy as he walked right over. "You must be Jason. He was thrilled I arrived so incredibly fast. Taking this perfect chance to break eye contact with Evelyn, I politely greeted Jeff and explained the editor sent me. You saw that, right? Even on our first meeting, Jeff clearly got an awesome impression of me. He praised my talent, mentioning Mr. Taylor. He even joked he never expected a skilled young photographer like me to be this remarkably handsome. He immediately led me straight toward Evelyn, introducing me as the highly renowned, talented young photographer. He promised today's shoot would go incredibly smoothly. Evelyn just gave a cold, dismissive hum before Jeff turned to introduce her. He called her Miss Vance. Smoothly cutting in, I immediately asked about the specific genre and theme. I suggested we discuss requirements first, then get straight to work to save everyone time. Whatever Miss Vance wanted was totally fine with me. She had zero objections. Jeff completely dropped his formal introduction, happily acting as the bridge between us. He stressed she was a massive star they worked hard to invite. Whatever style she actually wanted, they would absolutely accommodate her. Since Evelyn rarely made public appearances, the entire crew was absolutely terrified of losing this massive hype. I kept my secret, never revealing we actually knew each other. I just calmly told Miss Vance to speak her mind freely. Calling her that was painfully polite. Ignoring the question completely, Evelyn just complained the environment was way too chaotic. It is lunchtime anyway. Let us eat and talk. Trust me, you are going to want to see what happens next. Stick with me here because this drama gets wild. She invited both of us, but her eyes locked totally on me, staring like she was terrified I'd vanish again. But I had absolutely zero interest. I told her I already had lunch plans and simply couldn't stick around. So I kept it professional. I told them to figure out the photo details, draft up a quick document, and send it my way. Right on cue, my phone rang. Perfect timing. Since someone was actually calling, I didn't even need to fake an excuse. I just answered right there. It was Sophie. Her voice was as warm and gentle as ever. Done with work. I'm just about to head home. I can pick you up and then we'll go straight to Mr. Taylor's house together. Sounds great. Wherever I went, she somehow always made it convenient. I smiled, feeling totally happy. Just finished up here. I am heading out right now. Then Sophie completely surprised me. What a coincidence, I just pulled up outside your studio. Really? That is pretty amazing. Sophie just let out a sweet laugh, leaving it at that. Honestly, we both knew she showed up early on purpose just to wait. I didn't call her out, though. I just hung up and said goodbye to Jeff. You heard the lady, I really need to run. Evelyn became the only person completely ignored in the room. She and Jeff just stood there watching me jog out. I quickly hopped into Sophie's car. Jeff watched us drive away and totally gushed to Evelyn. They are both top students of my good friend. I heard they are completely in love and share a very solid relationship. Watch closely here because this stings. Probably won't be long before we hear wedding bells. Every single word felt like a direct hit to Evelyn. Evelyn's expression turned visibly darker, and honestly, the stormy look was only getting worse. Before Jeff could even finish hyping up the golden couple, she abruptly cut him off. I have an emergency today. We will eat another time. Oh, all right. Take care, Miss Vance, Jeff innocently added. Once you are totally free, please do not forget to send those photo requirements so I can forward them over. Poor Jeff assumed this was their first meeting. Evelyn either didn't hear him or just purposely ignored him. She never looked back, storming away at lightning speed. Jeff, who had been enjoying a nice chat with her, was left utterly confused by her sudden 180-degree personality flip. Nobody on set had offended her at all. He was screaming internally with pure confusion. Meanwhile, Sophie, who was driving, had a similar question, but she directed it at me. What is wrong? You really do not look very good. I completely avoided a direct answer, just relaxing back into my seat. The weather has been changing constantly, just feeling a tiny bit cold. Sophie always put others first. How about we grab something really hot for lunch? Mr. Taylor mentioned craving hot pot. We can buy some groceries and make a steaming hot pot over at his place. You and I both know that was a perfect suggestion. Not wanting to ruin the vibe, I happily followed her to the supermarket for some fresh groceries. By the time we carried all the food into Mr. Taylor's house, it was absolutely perfect timing for lunch. Mr. Taylor was completely thrilled to see his students bring food. You guys have amazing timing. He took the groceries into the kitchen, giving me a bright smile. Your sister happens to be here. It is rare for everyone to eat together, so I will make extra. Sophie instinctively threw a quick glance at me. Okay. My expression never changed. I just smiled back at Mr. Taylor and stepped into the kitchen to help prep. We only hit the dining room once everything was totally ready. By then, Sophie and Evelyn were basically treating each other like invisible air, just sitting there for a while. The hot pot on the table was bubbling and steaming aggressively, yet the people sitting around it were completely silent. Nobody dared to start a conversation. The sound of Sophie dropping veggies into the pot was literally louder than the boiling broth. I sat right between Sophie and Mr. Taylor. I originally wanted to avoid Evelyn entirely, but when I looked up, I realized they were sitting directly across from each other. Evelyn stared at me briefly before suddenly starting a polite chat with Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, I am not sure how Jason has been doing abroad lately. Are his work and life going smoothly? She could have easily asked me directly, but no, she insisted on playing these little games right in front of me. Sweet Mr. Taylor, totally oblivious to the heavy tension, grabbed some fish with his chopsticks and answered honestly, Jason is doing absolutely great. Everyone working with him has nothing but high praise. My friends keep saying how incredibly lucky I am to have taught such a brilliant guy. He hasn't caused you any weird trouble, right? Mr. Taylor quickly shook his head. Of course not. Jason and Sophie are amazing. They visit me all the time. Without them around, my life would honestly be painfully boring. As he spoke, he glanced happily between Sophie and me, his warm smile growing even wider. Miss Vance, this is Sophie, also my student. Jason must have introduced her already, so I will not say too much. You and I both know the truth. These two are simply his absolute best students. All right, you and I are diving right into the drama. Mr. Taylor's matchmaking was incredibly obvious, but Evelyn completely shut him down mid-sentence. Polite but totally ruthless, she interrupted him instantly. I get what you're trying to do, Mr. Taylor, but they are an awful match. Mr. Taylor's smile completely froze. Evelyn glared sideways at Sophie, casually dropping a bomb. I actually came here today to discuss something with Jason. I've already picked out his future wife. Like, really? But Jason never mentioned this at all. Mr. Taylor, super confused and concerned, just had to ask, who is this girl? Do I know her? Yeah, you could say you know her. So what's her deal? Evelyn dramatically paused for a moment before finally answering. She runs her own company. Her finances are absolutely top tier. She can easily give Jason everything he ever wants to do. Her industry reputation is flawless, and most importantly, she adores Jason. Naturally, I immediately knew exactly who this supposed fiancé she was talking about was. Completely unable to stand it anymore, I interrupted. Enough! My sudden explosion grabbed everyone's absolute attention. Mr. Taylor stared in shock, seeing a usually super chill guy suddenly blowing up. Now pay attention here. He finally realized something was very wrong looking between us, suspecting a huge sibling rivalry. Reading the intense room, I took a massive breath, steadied myself, and said, sorry, but I don't care about money. I love my current job and my salary is perfectly fine for me to do what I want. I don't need you managing me. Evelyn fired back darkly. If I don't look after you, who exactly will? I'm a grown adult. I control my own destiny. I don't need anyone taking responsibility for my choices. And I definitely don't need your toxic, controlling management. Even as an adult, you grew up with me. Your parents are gone. Obviously, I have to keep you in line right now. I can't let you get tricked by some random girl. Evelyn was absolutely furious right now. The terrifying glare she shot at Sophie could literally freeze a person solid. Honestly, how could I possibly keep dealing with this mess? I decided to go all in. I'm not dating Sophie just to make you mad. I genuinely think she is a totally amazing person. Being with her lately has been super fun and easy. I said no, and I mean it. Evelyn, furiously angry beyond belief, brutally interrupted me. The chopsticks in her hand slammed onto the table with a huge smack. Jason, come home with me right now. At this point, I didn't care about Mr. Taylor's feelings anymore. I just stood up super fast. This isn't the Vance house. This is definitely not a place for you to throw your weight around and command everyone to obey. Jason, I'm just worried you'll get tricked. You keep claiming you have to manage me. Then tell me, under exactly what title are you bossing me around? As a stranger, an acquaintance, or my big sister in name only? I heavily emphasized those last words. Evelyn was totally trapped now. If she accepted the sister title, she'd destroy any future romantic chance with me forever. They would forever remain just siblings in name. We both feel that tension, right? Because if she stays quiet, she completely loses her right to control my marriage. Mr. Taylor finally understood we were aggressively fighting over my romantic life. He glanced at Sophie, awkwardly, desperately trying to defuse the bomb. Okay, Miss Vance. Even if you have a great candidate, let's not rush things. Let Jason share his thoughts and we can discuss this calmly. No. Evelyn's stance was rock solid. There is literally nothing to discuss. Not wanting to make Mr. Taylor feel any worse, I just grabbed my jacket. I am so incredibly sorry. This was supposed to be a fun hot pot dinner and I ruined it. You guys go ahead and eat without me. I'm leaving now. I quickly walked out, specifically telling Sophie to not feel awkward at all and just eat with Mr. Taylor. Once again, I completely ignored Evelyn and she was absolutely boiling over. Totally ignoring Mr. Taylor, she stormed out right after me. Jason, stop right there. I completely pretended not to hear her shouting, power walking down the street at top speed. Seeing I was about to escape the block, Evelyn abandoned her cool dignity, sprinting over to grab my arm, practically begging, "Jason, please just listen to me." Evelyn, how many times must I say this for you to finally get it? I know exactly what you want to say, but I just won't listen to it. Our fierce argument ended with Evelyn literally shoving me straight into her shiny car parked nearby. She pinned me into the passenger seat and instantly locked the doors from the inside. Now, even though I refused to talk, I was totally trapped in this tiny space with her. You've already ruined absolutely everything. What more do you even want? I yelled, my eyes red with pure fury, my voice shaking. This is a foreign country. Your manipulative little tricks won't work here. If you don't let me out, I'll report you for false imprisonment. Honestly, my words weren't nearly as rock solid as her intense attitude. She took a deep breath, speaking in a raspy, broken voice I had never heard from her before. I am sorry. I just want to tell you, I finally realized something. So what do you and I think happens next? Let's dive into this. The truth is, I've always liked you. No matter who you actually like, I simply won't allow it. The only one spending forever with you is me. For the very first time, she finally showed a moment of true weakness. But honestly, her confession sounded more like a military order. Finding it utterly absurd, I just let out a light chuckle. Sister, you've definitely got the wrong guy. You shouldn't be telling me this. You need to go say this to Trent. Evelyn rubbed the bridge of her nose, clearly getting a massive headache. Can we please not bring him up? Absolutely not. I purposely pushed her buttons. Sister, I have already accepted Trent as my brother-in-law. I genuinely wish you both a century of harmony and hope you start a family soon. What more do you want? Oh, wait. Did you two get into a fight with every word I deliberately threw in a sharp sister? It gave her such a headache she could barely focus, making her chest tight and breathless. She desperately wanted to tell me to stop calling her that, but couldn't find a good excuse, leaving her choking on her words. Seeing her totally distracted, I seized the moment, slamming my fist against the car window and screaming for help at the very top of my lungs. Coincidentally, some police officers were patrolling the nearby street. Hearing the commotion, they immediately stopped and approached. Only then did Evelyn realize I meant exactly what I said. Watch closely, this is where it gets real. My threat wasn't a bluff. An officer knocked sternly on the window. Ma'am, please step out of the vehicle. Reluctantly, Evelyn unlocked the doors facing police interrogation alongside me. She desperately tried to explain things. Officer, this is a huge misunderstanding. We know each other. He just doesn't want to be my sibling anymore. This attitude only made the police more suspicious. The officer looked her up and down, then turned to confirm it with me. Is that true? I said coldly. She is just a sister with absolutely no blood relation. That is all. Evelyn looked right at me in pure disbelief. She was highly agitated, her lips moving to speak, but the police gave her absolutely no chance. I stood there totally unfazed until I confirmed Evelyn was being taken down to the station for questioning. Refusing to linger any longer, I called Sophie. Can you come pick me up right now? Where are you? I am on my way. Sophie didn't ask why. She just rushed over as quickly as she could. I stood all alone by the side of the road, looking so thin and fragile, like a strong gust of wind could blow me away. When I saw her finally arrive, I asked softly, Is Mr. Taylor okay? He is fine, just a bit confused. Sophie comforted me. No worries. I explained things to him. I just nodded. Sophie wanted to say more, but held back. She didn't ask why I looked even more down today. It wasn't until she brought me home, poured me a hot cup of tea, and placed it right in my hands that she finally asked out of deep concern, Is your sister regretting it? She was just gentle, definitely not slow or stupid. Normal siblings don't get into screaming physical matches on the street over a younger brother's love life. I nodded slightly, adding that I don't regret it. I know what you're thinking. I looked at Sophie, totally resolute, with absolutely zero lingering attachment. From now on, there are only two options left between us. We are either biological siblings or total strangers. Let us see what she finally chooses. The past is the past. What I really want is a fresh start. Back at the police station, Evelyn was interrogated for half a day until her assistant finally showed up with the proper documents to bail her out. Taking a breath of fresh air outside, the assistant noticed her awful mood and wisely minimized his presence right after handling all the paperwork. Yet at this incredibly sensitive moment, Trent had the absolute audacity to come seeking her out. The moment he saw her, he rushed right over with tears in his eyes. "Evelyn, you have to help me. They have pushed me to my absolute limit. I had to flee the country, but I never expected them to actually find me here." He spouted his pathetic sob story, acting as if he was completely finished if Evelyn didn't bail him out. But Evelyn had already seen through his true nature. She asked tiredly, "How much money do you need?" Trent was totally overjoyed. He was just about to quote a massive number when he saw Evelyn check her phone. Her expression instantly morphed, staring at him like his game was entirely over. "Evelyn, what is wrong?" He shivered instinctively, taking a cautious step toward her. Evelyn just let out a cold laugh. "When you texted Jason, did you have this exact same look on your face?" The moment those words left her mouth, Trent completely froze in place. He forced a stiff smile. "Text what text? Hasn't Jason been totally missing? How could I ever contact him? That is impossible. She should have completely given up on Evelyn. Evelyn simply didn't even bother wasting her breath. She just violently shoved her phone screen right into his face. Just moments ago, the private investigator she hired back home made a massive breakthrough, sending over recovered data from a phone. "Look at this." Trent stared at the exact messages he had sent. "Trust me, you'll want to see this." Panic flashed across his face, but he quickly lied anyway. "Stick with me here." Trent panicked, begging that Jason framed him. But Evelyn was not having it. "Shut up!" she yelled coldly. The whole room went completely silent. Nobody even dared to breathe. Evelyn's hand just shook uncontrollably. Towering right over him, she asked one final freezing question. "Did you force Jason to leave?" Every single clue she ignored before suddenly clicked together. The awful truth was right in front of her. Seeing Evelyn totally flip her attitude, Trent was absolutely terrified. Still, he refused to let go of his rich and glamorous cash cow. He dropped his voice, acting totally innocent. "Evelyn, I genuinely liked him. Why bully him?" His voice got quieter and quieter until it just vanished. Facing her freezing glare, he stayed totally speechless. He knew it was entirely game over. Evelyn's mind was racing with pure anger and massive regret. She could not reverse time at all. Hating herself, she ignored Trent completely and dropped one final super chilling sentence. "I told you Jason is my absolute bottom line. Now watch closely. You could pretend with me to make him confess his feelings, but hurting him was absolutely forbidden. Not one single hair. Leave now." Trent trembled. He tried grabbing her coat, but she quickly stepped back. His hand just hovered in the air as he cried and begged. "I really didn't." Evelyn was totally disgusted. She turned away, refusing to even look. Right then, her headmaid from back home suddenly gave her a quick ring. Still facing away, she answered, "What is it?" The maid updated the investigation progress. "Miss Vance, that tech expert you hired to fix the security footage is done. The video is here. You were totally right. Someone purposely provoked young Master Jason." Evelyn clenched her fist so hard her veins popped. She already knew. She turned slowly, glaring at Trent. Trent was shaking in his boots, but running was impossible. He owed massive online debts. Without Evelyn's money, those angry creditors would absolutely ruin his life. Evelyn listened quietly as the maid dropped the name. It was Trent. He purposely smeared lipstick on his neck to trick Jason. Now everything was perfectly crystal clear. Come on, they were adults. Smeared lipstick on a neck obviously looked like trouble. Trent panicked as Evelyn hung up the phone. She spun around and signaled her nearby assistant. "Handle him," she ordered. "I never want to see him again." The assistant nodded immediately. He called some guards over to hold Trent back, stopping him from crying, screaming, or rushing at her. Evelyn jumped in her car, speeding straight to my apartment. She desperately needed to clear up this giant misunderstanding now. Even if I still refused to forgive her, even if I totally rejected her, she could not let me move on. But you and I both know she was way too late. The entire apartment just stayed completely silent. Not a single sound. Refusing to quit, she shouted, "Jason, it is me." Then a click. A grumpy neighbor, totally annoyed by the noise, peeked out. "Miss, please stop shouting. Nobody is living there anymore." Evelyn froze. "Did they just leave?" The neighbor shook his head. "Nope, they completely moved out. Said they were taking a honeymoon trip." Did you not know? Before he could even finish, Evelyn sprinted away like lightning. She drove straight to the closest airport. While driving, she spammed my number countless times. But every single call went straight to voicemail and just completely dropped. I ignored every single one. Her assistant finally called back. Trent had massive online loans. I just shipped him back home and his angry creditors instantly dragged him right away. Evelyn could not care less about Trent. She gritted her teeth, giving a new command. Send a team to every airport now. Turn the entire world upside down if you must. Intercept Jason. Understood, Miss Vance? Wait. Evelyn suddenly remembered a key detail. She never found my previous Milan boarding info. Jason is probably hiding his real name. He has a Singapore passport. Go search his English name, yes, right away. But 3 whole days passed. Even with everyone searching, I completely vanished. My disappearing act this time was way better than the last. Evelyn stayed up for 3 straight days. No sleep, 0 food, no water. Mr. Taylor quickly heard the news. Terrified she might actually collapse, he called to check on her. But Evelyn frantically cut him off. Any Jason news? No, you need rest. So what do you and I think happens next? You and I are jumping right into a wild family mystery. Mr. Taylor sighed, warning her that she was pushing her limits too far. He is completely grown up now, totally free to choose his own amazing path. Evelyn just sat alone in absolute darkness, silently soaking in Mr. Taylor's heavy, echoing words. She caught every single detail perfectly, but she absolutely refused to accept reality. My getaway was so clean and mysterious, even Mr. Taylor lost my trail. I definitely wasn't handing out any more second chances. Meanwhile, hidden away in a gorgeous, cheerful little house far off-grid, I was totally chilling in my lounge chair with my eyes shut, soaking up those sweet rays. Since autumn kicked off, perfect sunny days were super rare. Sophie was close by, polishing up my cameras. Guessing I was totally asleep, she stealthily grabbed a camera and snapped a quick picture, but my ears catch every single shutter click, so I instantly bolted right up to check it. Let me see. If you caught a bad angle, you are so in trouble. Here, take a look. Sophie handed over the glowing screen. I grinned big. Your skills are actually amazing. Looking super handsome here. You're totally forgiven. Seeing my huge smile, Sophie laughed warmly. Hello, did you forget I studied under Mr. Taylor too? Technically, I am your senior. We cracked jokes endlessly until a crisp, refreshing autumn breeze swept across our cozy courtyard. Suddenly, Sophie recalled a mysterious little detail. I chatted with Mr. Taylor today. He mentioned your sister flipped all of Europe upside down searching. She is definitely going to keep hunting. Sophie watched my face closely, noticing my awkward, forced grin as I waited for the rest of the crazy news. She added, Mr. Taylor mentioned your sister is completely losing her absolute mind. I just shrugged it off casually. We are adults now, making our own epic choices. That path is totally hers. I gazed out at the stunning rolling hills far away. The vibrant leaves were already changing. I turned to Sophie, excitedly pitching an idea to pack up and shoot the breathtaking autumn mountain scenery together. Are you up for an adventure? Sophie instantly lit up. Yes, of course. Wherever you decide to wander, I am tagging right along. I grinned widely. Can we crash at a cute little bed and breakfast for now? Let me pack bags for both of us. Sophie was totally action-oriented. Catch some more sleep now. I will grab you when it is ready. Now pay close attention to this switch. While we planned our awesome trip, Evelyn sat trapped in darkness, frantically checking mysterious files. A single moody wall light cast crazy shadows across her face, basically making her look like some intense, brooding vampire trapped inside an ancient, forgotten castle. Her stressed assistant knocked gently. Miss Vance, just like you, demanded we tracked down several more interesting candidates matching your exact weird criteria. Enter. The nervous assistant, completely terrified of sparking her explosive drama, quietly dropped the folders. But Evelyn looked ridiculously bored, completely ignoring them, as if she never angrily demanded this bizarre mission in the first place. Just when the assistant started sweating bullets, she dramatically lit up. Her intense gaze finally locked onto a single top-secret dossier. Obsessively staring, she let the ash burn down entirely, utterly, ignoring it until the heat almost scorched her. Startled awake, she wildly flicked it away, nearly burning a massive gaping hole straight through the fancy sofa. Miss Vance, the assistant, yelped in pure panic. Evelyn finally snapped out of her hazy trance, crushing the embers quickly into a nearby ashtray. She violently yanked out the folder she was obsessing over and shoved it toward her confused assistant. Go ahead and rescue this guy. Pay him a massive chunk of cash, then set him totally free to chase his biggest dreams. Surprisingly, that file photo revealed a cheerful young dude who looked exactly like me. The assistant stood totally shocked. "You are not keeping him." Evelyn frowned deeply. "Meaning what?" After her initial dramatic meltdown, she shockingly quit hunting me down across the map. Instead, she flipped her strategy, totally deploying agents to find guys matching my exact age and awesome looks. You and I probably guessed she wanted a fake brother for comfort, right? Well, twist time. Her assistant just realized he was completely wrong. Looking totally spaced out, Evelyn gave absolutely zero explanation. She just stared into the empty void, whispering in a haunting, mysterious tone. "I know exactly what everyone thinks, but absolutely nobody replaces him. Once he vanished, he was gone forever." After that shocking revelation, she completely stopped trying. Instead, she chose chaos, recklessly ignoring her own health. No food, zero sleep. Only hitting the absolute crashing limits of extreme exhaustion would force her to pass out briefly. Even looking awake, her intense mental state was wildly abnormal, puffing smoke constantly like an absolute maniac, leaning on it for her only dramatic escape. As her loyal sidekick, the assistant desperately tried intervening. "Miss Vance, I know it hurts bad, but our crazy life simply must go on. Forgive my wild honesty, but if you keep trashing your own health, you will land straight in the hospital before we even hear about Mr. Jason." Maybe that is actually perfect. Evelyn literally refused to close her weary eyes anymore. The very second she blinked, my face magically appeared. She saw my freezing gaze. She saw my bold, unstoppable silhouette leaving. She asked bitterly, "If I get severely ill and fade away, will he visit one last time? I miss him so intensely. I literally feel like I am breaking." And that is where we leave this wild drama for now. Let's dive into this wild mystery. Aside from this, she completely lost focus on everything. Her assistant smartly changed tactics. "Send the investigators out again, but where to? There are absolutely zero exit records for him on file. He must be traveling around Europe." Saying she wasn't deeply moved by this thought would be a huge lie. After a quiet moment, she answered hoarsely, "No need. He wants to avoid me. Forcefully tracking him down just means I will have to face his freezing cold eyes all over again. Besides, how could I even dare to show my face? This mess was entirely her fault. If she had just trusted me a tiny bit more, things would have never ended up so broken like this. Time cures all wounds. Merry Christmas." 1 whole year later. Evelyn returned home, stepping into my old house for the very first time. Following her strict orders, there was always someone keeping the place perfectly maintained and looking absolutely spotless inside. Not even a single tiny decoration was allowed to move from its spot. Every single inch of that room kept its original layout, looking exactly like I had just stepped out for 5 minutes. Evelyn sent the housekeeper away early. She picked up the supplies herself, wanting to thoroughly clean my room personally. Now pay attention, here is where it gets crazy. The letter arrived right then. The mailman vanished, leaving only his familiar handwriting on the envelope. Evelyn practically flew outside, sprinting down the street, hoping to catch the carrier for the sender's contact info. But it was totally and completely useless. She could only head back inside and open it. The message was super simple, a cheerful postcard wishing her Merry Christmas. Suddenly, Evelyn realized the holiday was actually the day after tomorrow. In the past, no matter what went down, we always celebrated this magical holiday together. But since last year, she was entirely alone. Right then, her loyal assistant walked in carrying all of those requested cleaning supplies. Seeing her standing completely frozen at the door with a letter, he stayed silent and just waited patiently. Once she finally moved, he gently asked Miss Vance, "Is that from Mr. Jason?" She simply hummed softly. Evelyn carefully gripped the paper and the hidden photo, holding them tight, as if they might suddenly shatter. The photo slipped down slightly. From his angle, the assistant clearly saw the 2 main subjects. I was wearing a Santa suit, standing super close to Sophie by a tree. We were making goofy faces, looking so cheerful and adorable. Can you believe this? She is definitely about to completely lose her mind. He watched Evelyn with intense caution, not daring to offer any comfort, terrified that one wrong word would cause an absolute disaster for him right there. Surprisingly, Evelyn reacted super calmly. She whispered, "Jason says he is living an amazing life right now. He mentioned feeling totally lost and hopeless, almost giving up on everything completely. But right at his lowest point, the incredibly cheerful Sophie appeared in his life. She gave him brilliant hope and the massive strength to keep moving forward. Although she read my words out loud to him, she seemed to be talking to herself. I am doing so great now. I don't need her interference anymore. But her voice slowly started shaking. A whole year went by. She really believed she was finally over this heavy pain. The assistant softly offered, "Would you like to sit down to finish reading this?" Only then did Evelyn realize she had been standing frozen for an endless amount of time. Reaching out, she gripped the table edge and sat down, her posture incredibly stiff and rigid. Her back pressed hard against the couch as if her remaining strength completely vanished in a flash. Jason also hoped I could step out of the dark past and find my own bright happiness instead of keeping myself locked up in a lonely cage. He truly still sees me as his big sister. She stared at my photo, trying desperately to force a smile. But no matter how hard she tried, she failed. Finally, she just threw her hands up, covering her face to hide every single bit of her deep emotion. Panicking that she was sliding back into last year's dark habits, the assistant desperately brainstormed a fast fix. "Miss Vance, just give me the address. Give me 10 minutes and we will pinpoint Mr. Jason's exact location. Even if he left, we can track his path. This is our greatest lead yet." Hearing this, Evelyn felt incredibly tempted for a quick second. She raised her hand, ready to bark out the order, but ultimately just shook her head instead. Lowering her arm, she gently picked the bright photo back up. "No need. He is living his dream life now. I am doing great, truly just amazingly well." After whispering that, she looked up at the loyal assistant beside her for years. "You should head home and celebrate a joyful Christmas with family. Consider it a paid vacation." The assistant didn't argue. He placed the supplies down, turned away, and left the quiet room overflowing with memories of me and Evelyn. Evelyn had been so incredibly lonely that time itself just started to blur completely together. Makes you think, right? She imagined me walking inside, but it was just a painful mirage. Her fingers continuously traced my familiar handwriting. I had simply written, "Merry Christmas, sister. Watch closely." After what felt like forever, she finally grabbed pen and paper, writing a bold, simple reply.